take 33 RPM records.
Oh.
And they brought this.
Beautiful.
Oh.
That's so sweet. Hey.
Hello. Oh, Ripley's got a
Ripley and Dave. I love your flower crown. And
Yeah.
Lisa, yours is so pretty. I love it.
It was quite the project this morning.
It was.
We have a giant vine in our backyard that has these purple flowers on it. So I put a bunch on this vine thing, and David just wrapped a piece of it on his head.
It looks great.
It
Yeah.
does.
Ripley like that.
Yeah.
Me too.
I love it. Cannot identify it.
Oh, mine's bougainvillea.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
gotta watch out for the thorns.
It's a little disappearing, but there it is. I don't know if Ripley's is bougainvillea. No?
Wisteria, I think. Is yours wisteria?
Wisteria.
Wisteria.
Bougainvillea's red. You're right.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
It's not wisteria. We have wisteria in our front yard, but we're not really sure what it's the same thing. We both have the same thing.
Oh no, it's different. Yeah. Oh, I don't know that one.
Like a trumpet of some kind.
Yeah.
Mine are kind of wilted, so they're looking mixed up.
Shyness that is criminally morbid and solid of nothing in particular. You shut your mouth, how can you say I go about things the wrong way? I am human and I need to belong, just like everybody else.
Happy Earth Day Sunday, everyone. Continue to come into our online space of hope and love, of peace and justice, of wholeness and healing. Come in where we welcome the certain and the seeking, the lifers and the newcomers, the beloved, the brokenhearted, those wearing flower crowns, and those with sadly nothing on your head this morning. That's okay. You are all welcome into our Zoom worship space. Happy 30 days for the earth. This month at Throop, we renew our commitment to earth care and earth justice. And at the heart of each one of our worship services this month is an invitation for you all to really just fall in love with earth and to understand yourself as a part of creation, not separate from it, and to feel earth as part of our body. Today, we draw inspiration from the element of earth. And please continue to turn toward one another as we move across the threshold into this worship space. We enjoy a video of the trees and the plants that you all find sacred.
Low below me, I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
morning. Our time together in worship is intimately connected with our daily lives. As a symbol of that connection, we light 3 flames this morning. We light our home chalices in a spirit of love, hope, and peace, with these words by Terry Tempest Williams. Soul and soil are not separate, neither are wind and spirit, nor water and tears. We are eroding and evolving at once, like the red rock landscape before me. Our grief is our love. Our love will be our undoing as we quietly disengage from the collective madness of the patriarchal mind that says aggression is the way forward. We light a second candle in honor of the people and ancestors whose lands we now occupy. The land under and around Throop was once, and is still, the home of the Tongva people. May this knowledge and awareness lead us into seeking justice and equity for all. We light a third candle honoring the Arroyo Seco watershed. Its waters nourish wildlife and native plants, and this path gives shape to the Pasadena area. We take a moment of silence, holding all of these in our hearts.
And as we continue coming into our worship space, I've seen you all active already in the chat box. Do continue to welcome one another into Throop. And you just saw in the video some of the trees and plants that our Throop members and friends find sacred. And if there is a tree or a special plant in your life and you want to lift it up, you can just put its name or location or whatever it is you know about that tree or plant into the chat box for the rest of us to see. And we also yesterday had a new member ceremony at Throop on the back patio underneath our bottle brush tree, which is in full bloom. And if you sit underneath it, you can hear the buzzing of the bees. They are very, very active in that tree. And several of our new members are here today in Zoom, and I'm noting some special welcomes are going out to them today. And Cindy lifts up the sacred love of cherry blossoms. Yes, indeed. And I think they may still be blooming a little bit in our area. I know they were lovely earlier at Descanso Gardens. Terry lifts up Anne Honeywell's macadamia nut tree. And Kelly says yellow roses are her favorite. Kelly, my roses are for you this morning. And Frances has a matriarch date palm right outside her door. And oh, Lindy Ramsden, hello and welcome. Lindy's not only naming a tree, but putting a link to a picture in here. That's great. Lindy, I'm really happy that you're here today. Lindy is one of my minister mentors and friends who continues to inspire me to work for climate change. Work against climate change. Stephanie types in the ancient and enduring redwoods. Kesa shares the citrus trees and the smell of citrus blossoms. And Paula lifts up the cactus that we can't hug but can enjoy from afar. Diane grew up with an amazing ash tree, the best climbing tree in the world. And Maureen love and appreciate their young Chinaberry and the Chinese pistache trees. Oh, and they've named them Faith and Grace. And if you are joining us this morning on our Facebook Live, we are happy you are catching us on Facebook. And if you feel so called, go ahead and write in the name of your favorite plant or tree in the little Facebook comment section, and we'll be able to see those a little bit later. And we'll please continue to be kind and generous to one another in our chat box. I turn now toward Stephanie Cabral, member of our board and also one of our garden team stewards.
Good morning.
Hello.
This month, we learned from permaculture principle number 3, obtain a yield, meaning ensure you are receiving useful rewards as a part of the work you are doing. Out in the garden, this looks like vibrant flowers, or a handful of New Zealand spinach, or bowls of apricots. In a religious community, those rewards may be more intangible, such as spiritual deepening, making more meaning of your life, or strengthening your friendships. In permaculture, obtaining a yield is a part of a healthy life cycle. The yield is one part of an ongoing system. Each week, we share our promise to our planet, reminding ourselves that we too are one part of a larger whole. So feel free to unmute yourselves right now to join me in the promise of the planet. As members of the family of the living beings on Earth, we are guided by the Unitarian Universalist principle of respect for the interdependent web of all existence, of which we are a part. With hearts filled with love for it, nurtured by its beauty, minds made in ways to protect a sacred and scarce resource, the well-being of life.
We promise to nurture the well-being of all life and of the planet itself.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stephanie. Ursula Le Guin wrote, "It was an old story that was no longer true. Truth can go out of stories, you know. What was true becomes meaningless, even a lie, because the truth has gone into another story. Lately, it feels like we are living between two stories. We have the story of this present moment. We live in the hope that we will have a post-pandemic life, that there will be a return to hugs and laughter together. And all of that feels really good. It's filled with a lot of promise. And this past week reminded us that we continue to live with the despair of so much continued violence in the world. Joanna Macy, deep ecologist and eco-philosopher, teaches that we are in the midst of a great turning. That we are turning away from an old story focused on an industrial growth society, and we are turning towards something new. We are in the midst of abandoning at least 3 stories that do not support a flourishing for all creation. One of these stories that we have been caught up in is a story of separation and economism. This story tells us that our personal success and worth comes from us making as much money as we can so we can buy things that will lead to happiness. Economism tells us that Earth is just a big lump of resources waiting to be turned into products that we will encase in plastic and buy up and then throw away when we're done with them. The second is a story of white supremacy culture that creates hierarchies of all kinds. This is a story that undergirds everything from policing to education, yes, even to our churches. It leads to the exploitation of people, of animals, and earth. And we have a third story, one that's of a technocratic paradigm, a story that tells us that goodness will flow out of technical prowess, that logic and science can control nature, and that extracting resources from Earth to create these new technologies is morally permissible. I ask you, in your own life, how well have these 3 stories really been working for you? These are just 3 that we need to let go of. And I'm curious about what other stories you feel like you're actively trying to turn away from, stories that no longer serve you, stories that separate us from Earth and from each other. And if stories that you're ready to turn away from come up in your heart and mind right now, and you have the energy to share it in the chat box, this is a moment for you to do that, just as a way for us to learn and connect with one another. And Diane shares that those 3 stories I lifted up have broken her heart and almost nearly broken her spirit. Dave names that tendency to want to manage and control events and people around him. As we continue to think about and ponder stories that surround us, stories that we swim in that sometimes are even hard to identify because there's so much of the kind of fabric of the culture and society we live in. We just hold them with curiosity, and we kind of turn toward kind of gifts of Earth. And to help us do that, Tom Hawkins, Throop Garden Steward, comes to us by video to share a couple of original poems.
Good morning, everyone. I've got 2 poems for you from the Throop Patio Garden on a rather chilly March spring morning. And you see behind me the first blossoms on our 100-year-old bottlebrush tree. Just gorgeous. And in my hat, a camellia that's alarmingly beautiful from the camellia bush that George tends to here in our patio garden. The first poem is titled Your Earth. Don't be afraid of the earth. It is not your enemy. It is not your friend. It is just you. You are of the earth. The earth is of you. Fear your pain, and the earth becomes your enemy. Love your pain, and the earth becomes your friend. The second poem is titled Earth Bath. My bare skin craves the grass I lie in, green all around me, ants and flies, birds and butterflies. The sun welds me to the soil. The breeze cools. No one is here. I can hear the earth, and I hear that bird in the background. Wonderful.
Hello, friends. I'm all the person behind the technology is on camera. Woo! I invite you all to a moment of meditation, contemplation, or prayer. Reverend Tera invited me to share a prayer that I delivered this morning with my internship congregation as we held, and I hope that we can hold this space as well, for the folks whose lives have been lost very recently. So we are holding space for Adam Toledo and for Dante Wright, who lost their lives to police violence. And we also are holding space for our 8 siblings who lost their lives in yet another mass shooting. And so we take a moment to say their names. Amarjit Sekhan, Amarjit Johal, Jasvinder Kaur, Jaswinder Singh, Matthew R. Alexander, Carly Smith, John Weissert, and Samaria Blackwell. And if you all will pray with me. Spirit of life, Spirit of love, Spirit of justice, may we turn this world around. Right here, right now, let us choose to change the cycle of violence, of thoughts and prayers, of vigils and memorials. Help us grow and change in this moment. Spirit, we are holding so much at this time, and yet we know we must go on. May we take a moment right here, right now, to acknowledge the change we need to make in the world, and then just do it. May we be held, may we be brave, may we be healed, and may we go out and heal the world. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be, friends.
Wendell Berry wrote, "I don't know, of course, what's going to happen, but it seems to me that a time could come when we will either have to achieve community or die, learn to love one another or die. We're rapidly coming to the time when the great centralized powers are not going to be able to do for us what we need to have done. Community will start again when people begin to do necessary things for each other." There are new stories being born all around us of people beginning to do necessary things for each other. These stories are very much grounded in a sense of community and love, grounded in the belief that each person is whole and holy just as they are, and that Earth is whole and holy and a part of us. We're moving into a new story where we humans do not see our role with the rest of Earth as a relationship of domination over everything else. Nor even, I'm coming to believe, we're not seeing ourselves in this relationship of stewardship where we're the ones responsible for taking care of creation. I believe we're moving toward a new relationship that's one of kinship, one grounded in a sense of mutuality and care and compassion with all of creation. A time where we understand that Earth is our body and breath. Larry Yang, a Dharma teacher, wrote, "We do not move and walk on Earth. We are Earth that moves and walks with the whole." In our very midst, a new life-affirming story is being written and told and lived out. We have one example of this right in front of us at Throop, and it's our Throop Learning Garden, a garden that was founded as a public demonstration, a way to show our neighbors, to show ourselves that you can grow organic food in an urban area. And then that you can create a project that really has community values and culture at its core. I always love that our Throop Garden very intentionally does not have a fence around it. And I think our unfenced, open to the sidewalk and street garden tells an implicit story that we want to be in relationship with those who come into our space for rest, restoration, and reflection. Another way in Pasadena we experience this new story emerging is through the Pasadena Complete Streets Coalition. They advocate for transportation and city planning policies that create more beautiful and safer walkways and bike paths, ones that are accessible to multi-modes of foot, bicycle, wheeled transportation so that we can rely less on cars and be more in relationship with our streets, our neighborhoods. Those are just two, and I know in our Throop community, you are aware of so many other new stories being born and told and lived out all around you. What are stories that you feel excited about being a part of that point toward a new way of living in this earth? And as you feel compelled and called to share those, please drop them in the chat box for the rest of us to see and experience. New stories being told and lived out in our midst. Paula shares her work with sustainable gardeners to increase the city of Burbank's attention to gray water, to community gardens, soil regeneration, and so much more. Another news story near and dear to Throop is the Repair Cafe, which I'm not sure how active it's been during the pandemic, but Repair Cafe, volunteer tinkers and repairers come together to offer free repair services to others in the local community, so that instead of throwing out old toasters or worn shirts, you can bring things in and have them tended to so you can continue using them. David loves the efforts to plant more trees. Ian lifts up the effort to protect dark skies and those who don't know it to experience the night. Kesa is increasing the biodiversity in their neighborhood by replacing lawn with California native plants. Clara simply shares her yard fruit and edible cactus with neighbors, which then creates more connection. Kesa shares the wonder of nature with school kids. Some of us enjoy the Arlington Gardens, a beautiful, seems like a lot of natives in it, garden just a few blocks away from Throop. And Paula is learning about herbs and how to use them in teas and recipes. And of course, the herbs at Throop are very abundant at this time of year. Well, as more of those stories come to you, please do share them for other people to see and experience. And I had asked you if you saw worship invitations to bring a bowl of soil with you today, or if you don't have soil nearby, maybe you have a house plant or even just a handful of leaves, but something of earth, if you have it close enough that you're able to bring it forward now. These new stories that we hear fill us with excitement and possibility. Things don't have to be the way they've always been. And I feel really strongly that person by person, action by action, doesn't have to be big and grand and worthy of making it into the newspaper or a blog post, but just our everyday intentions helps turn us toward this new way of being in the world, connects us with who it is we really want to be. That old story that's grounded in separation, economism, white supremacy culture, and over-reliance on technology has a strong pull on us just because our cultures are so grounded in it. But we can and we are making turns away. But it takes energy, does it not, to do something different? One way we gather strength and resilience for it is from connection to nature. This past week, many of you sent pictures of trees or plants that feel sacred to you. And you also shared a few words about why they feel special. So as we engage in a ritual connecting us to the element of earth, we'll hear some of your words that you shared. And as we get ready, if you have the plant or leaves or soil, I know this might feel weird, but it's okay. We can be weird together on Zoom. It's just us here. Smell the soil or feel the leaves or feel your plant. What does it smell like? And don't say it smells like dirt. Go a little deeper than that. What does it smell like? You know, soils smell differently depending on where they come from. Does it smell a little bit fresh and clean, or maybe even sweet? Oh, I see someone's talking about a tomato plant, and hello, nothing smells like the leaves of a tomato plant. So as we do our ritual, the response that you'll say will be, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. And each time you say it, just really feel the soil in between your fingers, or feel the leaves, their softness, or the leaves' fuzziness or crispness. If you have a cactus, be careful. And again, the words you'll say are, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. Trees and plants bring joy and keep us company. When we water them or trim them, we strengthen our connections to them. Soul and soil are not separate. Let's say together, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. Trees and plants fill our lives with gifts of blossoms and sap. The wood can be used for furniture, musical instruments, our homes, and yes, even eventually resting boxes. Their oils are used as cleaners, their nuts flavor our cooking. Soul and soil are not separate. Let's say together, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. Trees and plants remind us of the grand connectedness we share with all that surrounds us as human beings. Ferns are ancient plants that have survived on Earth for millions of years. They remind us of small miracles that surround us every day. Soul and soil are not separate. Let's say together, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. Trees and plants fill our imaginations. When we stand in a grove of giant redwoods, we realize we're in a sacred space that fills us with magic. And we can go back there at any time by closing our eyes. Soul and soil are not separate. We say together, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. And finally, trees and plants center us, calm us, offer a deep sense of peace. They're warm and stable presences. They offer beauty and shade, cool places to sleep and picnic. They are mystical, powerful, ancient, and strong. Soul and soil are not separate. And we say together for the last time, may we feel connected to earth and to each other. And as we continue to hold this connection to earth and to one another, maybe dust a little bit of the soil off our fingertips. We hear inspiring poetry from Amanda Gorman, her piece, Earthrise.
On Christmas Eve, 1968, astronaut Bill Anders snapped a photo of the Earth as Apollo 8 orbited the moon. Those three guys were surprised to see from their eyes a planet looked like an Earthrise, a blue orb hovering over the moon's gray horizon with deep oceans and silver skies. It was our world's first glance at itself, a first chance to see a shared reality, a declared stance, and a commonality, a glimpse into our planet's mirror. And as threats drew nearer, our own urgency became clearer as we realized that we hold nothing dearer than this floating body we all call home. We've known that we're caught in the throes of climactic changes some say will just go away, while some simply pray to survive another day. For it is the obscure, the oppressed, the poor who, when the disaster is declared done, still suffer more than anyone. Climate change is the single greatest challenge of our time. Of this, you're certainly aware. It's saddening, but I cannot spare you from knowing an inconvenient fact, because it's getting the facts straight that gets us to act and not to wait. So I tell you this not to scare you, but to prepare you, to dare you to dream a different reality where, despite disparities, we all care to protect this world, this riddled blue marvel, this little true marvel, to master the verve and the nerve to see how we can serve our planet. You don't need to be a politician to make it your mission to conserve, to protect, to preserve that one and only home that is ours. To use your unique power to give next generations the planet they deserve. We are demonstrating, creating, advocating. We heed this inconvenient truth because we need to be anything but lenient with the future of our youth. And while this is a training in sustaining the future of our planet, there is no rehearsal. The time is now, because the reversal of harm and protection of a future so universal should be anything but controversial. So, Earth, pale blue dots, we will fail you not. Just as we chose to go to the moon, we know it's never too soon to choose hope. We choose to do more than cope with climate change. We choose to end it. We refuse to lose. We do this and more, not because it's very easy or nice, but because it is necessary. Because with every dawn we carry the weights of the fates of this celestial body orbiting a star, and as heavy as that weight sounded, it doesn't hold us down, but it keeps us grounded, steady, ready, because an environmental movement of this size is simply another form of an Earthrise. To see it, close your eyes, visualize that all of us in this room and outside of these walls or in these halls, all of us change makers, or in a spacecraft floating like a silver raft in space, and we see the face of a planet anew. We relish the view, we witness its round green and brilliant blue, which inspires us to ask deeply, wholly, what can we do? Open your eyes, know the future of this wise planet is right in sight, right in all of us. Trust this earth uprising, all of us bring light to exciting solutions never tried before, for it is our hope that implores us at our uncompromising core to keep rising up for an earth more than worth fighting for.
Good morning, everybody. If you just bear with me for a moment, having a technical difficulty. Okay, so sorry for that. That was such a powerful moment, I was really taken back. So many of us have come to Throop in search of community and a sense of belonging. We were ready to turn toward a new story in our lives, and when we needed a spiritual and religious home, Throop was there for us. Your ongoing support of Throop means that we will be there for the next person who needs us. For those of you who are able to make financial contributions, we invite you to do so now. You can send a check to Throop, or you can give online or by text, and those links are in the chat box and on your screen. Thank you to all who contributed to today's service. Matthew Taylor on tech, Jamal Carver, chalice lighting words, Paula Trubisky, chatbox greeter, Stephanie Cabral, permaculture moment and promise to our planet, and Tom Hawkins, original poetry, and of course, Reverend Tera, our worship leader.
And as you are ready, join us in saying our response to the offering. For the ministries of the church
In our community,
we bless
we bless our offering with love and hope.
And friends, you are also invited to take that love and hope and desire for action into our Throop Collective Action for April, which is helping to protect Pasadena's water. As you are able, we just invite you to sign this water petition. You don't need to be a resident of Pasadena in order to sign it. And it is regarding Pasadena's 25-year water plan. And it will help ensure that our local wildlife and our beloved Arroyo Seco waterway is protected. If you lit a chalice this morning as worship started, you can extinguish that flame now, but we carry its light with us into the world. Our connections don't stop here on Sunday morning. We continue to meet mostly by Zoom in the days to come, and a few ways to continue your connections. Our racial justice team will meet tomorrow, Monday at 5 p.m. If you want to continue the conversation on living into a new story of deep connection, join Marcella and I on Tuesday night at 5 for the All We Can Save book group. And finally, if you are seeing these beautiful flower crowns and hearing about the amazing Throop soil and you are thinking, I am ready to get my hands in the ground or at least come by and look at it. Every fourth Saturday is our work day in the garden. That means next Saturday, the team will be there between 9 and 11. And we're also having a special children and family connection moment in the garden next Saturday. Please remember that soul and soil are not separate. May we keep moving forward towards this vibrant, abundant way of living that honors our kinship with all creation. I love you all. Go out and love the world. Amen and blessed be. We have a postlude song, Keep on Moving Forward, and you are invited to be here after that for some casual conversation on Zoom. Happy Earth Day Sunday.
Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Sigamos adelante, siempre adelante, siempre adelante, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Keep on loving boldly. Never turning back. Never turning back. Amaremos con pasión. Siempre con pasión, siempre con pasión, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reach across our border, reach across our border. Reach across our border, never turning back, never turning back. Vivamos sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras, siempre sin fronteras. Sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna reunite the family, reunite the family, reunite the family. Never turning back, never turning back. Familias reunidas, siempre reunidas, siempre reunidas, sin volver atrás, sin volver atrás. Gonna keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Keep on moving forward. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back. Never turning back, never turning back.
Peace.
We love you.